What is going on? Welcome to Chapter 6 of the Psycho-Cybernetics course. We are talking about relaxing your body and letting your success mechanism work for you. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I'm coming out with a full Psycho-Cybernetics series, among other series that I'll be teaching different books, Buy Back Your Time. I have Dichotomies of Leadership coming out, Psycho-Cybernetics as well. If you have not watched the previous videos, definitely go ahead and watch those just so you're up to speed and this is not confusing. There's also action items at the end of each video. Whole book is about reprogramming your self-image. So that's the main focus here. And again, this video I have used this book over the past 3 years to completely rewire my own self-image, and I continue to rewire my self-image as I'm consistently transitioning into that 2.0 version of myself, right? It's a perpetual pattern. I talk about it in Built for Impact, right? You're at the 1.0 version of yourself, and you're always seeking to get to that 2.0 version. In order to do that, you have to follow the Built framework, which is break limiting beliefs, upgrade your operating system, imagine your future, let go of the past, and then you transcend. Then you get to the next loop, and you kind of go through that loop again. Then you go up again, and then you eventually reach your 2.0 self. But it's obviously a perpetual journey. We're always seeking to become better every single day. So just something to keep in mind there. Let's get into it here. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. So relax and let your success mechanism work for you. This is so important for us to relax. We've been trained to be in this state of stress and fear and anxiety in our bodies. It's like we're just slamming on the freaking gas and the brake at the same time while we're sitting in traffic, and the RPMs of the car in that red section on your dashboard, right? 7, 8, and they're like, wee. It is just revving out of control. That's what our bodies are feeling when we go throughout our day, just constantly stressed out about things, worried, frustrated, angry, and we hold on to those lower level emotions. It cuts us off from all creative intelligence. All the ideas that come in that you need to solve your problems, all the energy you need to execute effectively, right? The creative flow, the ability to act, make good decisions, all that stuff is completely cut off when you are not in a creative state. So you can either be in a creative state or you can be in a stressed fight or flight state. You don't want to be in the fight or flight state because it shuts off your prefrontal cortex in your brain and shuts you off from all your ability to really make good decisions. So we constantly need to be relaxing ourselves, right? We don't need to force the result. Remember, our brain is a cybernetic device. So you give it the instructions and you let it bring it to you. Just like a thermostat, right? You set the thermostat to 70, that's all you need to do. And the device does the rest. If it's at 62 and you set it to 70, it's going to wind up at 70, right? Same thing with the self-guided missile. You say, hey, missile, you got to get here. You set the destination, it's gonna go back and forth on the way to its destination through those negative feedback signals that I've talked about. But it's going to get there. You don't have to do it. Same thing with your mind. You give your mind a vision, something that you want, you embody the feeling, and then you let it come in, however it may come in. Your conscious mind sets the goal, not the process. So it's your conscious mind again. Your conscious mind is the gatekeeper, and your subconscious mind has no opinion. So it's very important for you to guard your thoughts and emotions and only entertain things that are putting you on the path towards what you want. It's very, very important to understand that. The subconscious mind is not, it accepts anything you tell it. So if you tell it that I'm not capable, I'm scared all the time, this scares me, that's what it's going to believe. So your conscious mind is the gatekeeper, and the conscious mind is the key to reprogramming the subconscious mind because you are the awareness and you can constantly be reprogramming that stuff. So it's your conscious mind's job to choose the what. The creative subconscious figures out the how. Trying to control every step creates tension and blocks clarity. Okay? What does this mean, let the subconscious do the how? I never understood. Like, what do you mean it's going to figure out the how? I need to do it, right? How is that going to happen? Basically, what happens is, and I use this analogy all the time, when we want to get to a goal, our mind thinks logically. We think, okay, I'm here. How am I going to get there? Okay, well, I'm going to have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. The universe works on a much higher intelligence, a much greater scale. So it might go A, F, B, O, D, and then get to Z because that's actually the most efficient way to do it, but our mind can't even comprehend it because the universe is working on a completely different scale. So when that opportunity, you start at A and then O comes up, your mind is going to try to self-sabotage that and say, well, that's I'm not ready for that yet. That's not the right move. You're trying to control the how. No, if an opportunity comes up, even if it seems a little bit off, you got to be open to the flow of life's events. how things may unfold, the setbacks you may encounter. Understand that everything is perfect and always working out in your favor. That's how you release the how. You don't know how it's going to come about, but you got to be open to that. But when it does happen, again, it'll come through synchronicities, meaning something that'll happen in a way you could have never expected it to, that puts you on the right path to where you are trying to where you're trying to go. So decide what you want. Let your subconscious take over from there. It's scary because the ego thrives on control. The ego wants you to stay where you are, stay in the familiar. Even if you're in this fear-based anxiety, worry state of being, that's what's familiar to the nervous system. The ego is designed to keep you safe, right? The mind is designed to help you survive, not thrive. So that's a really important thing to understand is when we're becoming our new selves, your ego is going to kind of pull you back to what's familiar. And for me, that was like stress, worry, anxiety. When I started to live in this peaceful state, my ego was like, no, you can't do this. Everything's going to fall apart. You can't let go of control. That doesn't mean I don't show up and give my best in everything that I do, but it's okay to be in this new state of being. You got to retrain yourself. So again, relaxation unlocks the creative power because when you are in a fight or flight state of being, you have activated if I'm going to get this right, the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, I had to look it up. I was wrong. So the sympathetic state is fight or flight, right? Parasympathetic part of the nervous system is the rest and digest. So when you are in this sympathetic nervous system state, your prefrontal cortex in your brain shuts off. You can't think. Your body is literally gearing up to either fight, flight, run away, or hide, right? So when we're in that state of being, we put ourselves into that by worrying about things, being angry, being frustrated. It destroys our body. Not only does it cause diseases, dis-ease, causing cancers, causing all sorts of autoimmune diseases, all sorts of issues, it shuts us off from this infinite intelligence of the universe. Because part of our brain's literally shut off because our body thinks we need to go freaking run from a tiger when we're sitting in traffic. We don't need to do that. So the key there is when those emotions come in, it's not that you don't feel them, but you have to let them go. And that's a muscle you have to work, is learning to let go. But relaxation unlocks the creative power. So the more you can stay in a creative state, if there's anything you're going to remember from this video, it's understanding that you can either be in a creative state or you can be in a survival state. We want to be in a creative state at all given times. Be at peace, right? Okay, something happens that you react, catch yourself, be the awareness that catches yourself and get back into that creative state because ideas are going to flow to you effortlessly. Action is going to be so easy. You're going to get so much done in such a short period of time because you're relaxed and the ideas come to you, the exact thing that you need to know at the exact right time. You're not wasting any time. It's a beautiful state of being to be in. Trust me, I've been in both, and you want to be in the rest and relaxed state majority of the time. No one's going to be in there all the time, but majority of the time. Ideas, hunches, and breakthroughs, they come when you're relaxed, not stressed. And I'm sure that you have experienced this before. So create space for that creative intelligence to move through you. Sometimes it's just a walk, like a long hour walk. When you kick down, some of your best ideas will come in. Or if you meditate or a long walk or just getting away from your phone and getting into a peaceful state, they just pop in out of nowhere. That's the subconscious mind working. Like when you're thinking about a problem, you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I solve this? It's some issue you've been trying to deal with or come up with a solution to, and you've been thinking about it for hours, all day long, and you can't think of it. And then what happens? You stop thinking about it, hour later, boom, it just comes into your head out of magic. What is that? That's the subconscious mind. That's the universe placing the idea in your head the second that you stopped struggling so hard to get the answer. That's how it works. So all we need to do is place our mind on something that we want to know the answer to. That's the cybernetic device. Place your mind on something you want to know the answer to. Think about it. Think about it a little bit and try to analyze the different things, but then just let it go and just have the faith and understand and try this with anything, but try it. I guarantee it comes. And just let it go and the answer will pop into your head out of nowhere. But when it does pop into your head out of nowhere, understand that that's not just random. That's how the universe works. So when you understand this, you understand you have the answer to pretty much anything that you want. You're trying to figure out how to fix something at work, how to fix something with your family, or implement a new system, or get better at sales, or whatever your question is. Offer it up. Think about it for a little bit, right? And about what the potential outcomes could be, but then just let it go. And I guarantee that answer comes to you. So surrender, it's not quitting. It's really the gateway to all sort of clarity, like surrendering to the information that comes in. So 5 principles to free the creative mechanism. He talks about these. These are actually really good. So do your worrying before you place the bet. Okay? Make the decision, then release it. Overthinking post-decision causes anxiety. It's like if you're going to worry at all, do it as you're making your decision about something. In the book, he talks about roulette players, right? Roulette players, they pick their number and then they worry as the ball goes around the thing. It's like if you're going to do any worrying, why don't you worry when you can actually control the situation? Like when you're trying to decide on your number that you're going to choose before you place the bet, that's when you should be worrying about, okay, what are the implications, all that stuff. Once you've made your decision, there's no use in worrying. It's like one time I had to let go of an employee, right? And I was like, we were trying to figure out, is it the right move? Is it not the right move? And obviously in that state, there's a little bit of worry and you're trying to figure out what the best option is. As soon as decision had been made, I had to remind myself, hey, there's no point in worrying. Because then there was like a delay before I was going to have the conversation with the person. But in my head, I'm like, there's no point in worrying right now because the decision has already been made, right? Well, what if this happens or that happens? Like we've already weighed all the options. This is the best decision. It is what it is. Let it go. Worrying doesn't do anything. Have the conversation in 2 days and be done with it. So do your worrying before you place a bet. As soon as action is the order of the day, you're done. You're done your worrying. Live in 24-hour compartments. I think this is good. So we're always like, the future and the past is just a product of the mind. I think that's something really important to understand. It is a product of the mind. That's how the mind understands things. Like the past doesn't exist now. It only exists in your mind. You're thinking about the past. The future doesn't exist. It just exists in your mind. So when you get out of your mind and you live in what you're doing, then you can be so much more present. You can let you free up your mind to receive these ideas. But try to live in 24-hour compartments, meaning don't think about anything that happened longer than 24 hours ago, and don't think about anything further than 24 hours ahead. And this still gives you enough time to plan, but helps you stay in that present moment. That generous present moment that Dr. Joe Dispenza says is where infinite possibilities lie. Do only one thing at a time. Like sand in an hourglass, your mind works best when it's focused. So just like the middle of that hourglass where, only a couple grains of sand or one grain of sand can go through at a time, even though you have a bunch at the top, one goes through. That's how we have to operate. So it's easy to want to multitask, but really just focusing on one thing at a time is when our mind works best and we can be efficient, we can get things done. So using time blocks, doing what you need to do to focus on one thing at a time. And there's been studies done on multitasking, how it's not beneficial, right? It's like we think we're getting more done, but we're actually just doing two things really poorly. Sleep on it. It's one of Isaiah and I's mottos in the business. Like, hey, let's sleep on it. Any big decision, sleep on it. But your subconscious works obviously overnight because your conscious mind is completely shut off. But there's a lot of clarity that often comes after rests, not just like say you're trying to figure out a decision all day long. It's been 5-6 hours, XYZ, like just sleep on it. And when you wake up, you're going to have so much clarity about what the right decision is. So don't sleep on sleeping on it. And then relax while you work. Keep a relaxed posture. It's something I have to work on all the time, but just, hey, stay relaxed. Relaxed posture, relaxed mindset. Don't let things trouble you. And this is a practice of just being relaxed throughout the day, no matter what happens. You are the controller of your internal state of being. Remember that. You control your internal state of being at all times, right? The second Hermetic law is as above, so below. So below, as above, something like that. But basically it's saying the internal creates the external world, right? I think Jesus said something in the Bible about if you build your house on sand, you can build your house on sand or you can build it on rock. And building your house on sand is building your identity and your self-worth and everything on external things. Like you need the external world to be a certain way for you to feel a certain way on the inside. When you do that, you're building your foundation of being on sand, basically. Because if any of those things are stripped away from your external environment, the car or the relationship or the money or the job title or the body that you have, you feel like nothing on the inside. Your house is built on sand, right? Or it's built on little twigs that we're just waiting for someone to pull a twig out. When you build on rock, your sense of worth comes from inside of you. Inherently, you know that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you are everything that you want to be. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the external world. It can be complete chaos, but on the inside, you're peaceful. So the quickest way to return from a chaotic external state is to breathe, remain peaceful on the inside despite the energy. And if you can remain peaceful, you'll stay in that creative state and you'll figure out the best way to get out of the chaos. But if it's chaotic out there and you jump into the chaos and you activate the sympathetic nervous system and you're in fight or flight, well, guess what? Brain's shutting off. You're making terrible decisions. You're going to be in the chaos longer. So you have to learn that your internal world creates your external world. And we also know this from quantum physics. our internal world, our thoughts placed out into the field, right? When our awareness focuses on a potential future outcome, it begins to collapse into reality. And our emotion, our energy, is the magnet that pulls the experience in. So literally our internal state of being creates our external. And we forget that. Things happen in the external, we let it dictate our internal state of being. You are the governor. You are the master of your state of being. And if you can focus on that and embody that, your life is going to be incredibly peaceful. Because we all deserve inner peace at the end of the day. And the last thing here is like journey mode. So most of the time you're in what he would call journey mode, meaning that you have the vision for your future and you're trying to figure out what your goal is, but you're not thinking about what you want all day long. A lot of times you're just in the moment. You're doing what you're doing. So that's okay. Just remind yourself like a few times a day of where you're going. So say you have a goal in mind to build a business and you want to build $1 million business. Great. Think about that in the morning. Visualize it. What does it feel like? Get into the frequency. But you're not thinking about it all day long. You have to be focusing on what you're doing. Because if you're thinking about that, you're not open to what's happening. So do the work in the morning, get into the frequency, let the universe deliver the how, and just be present. And then revisit that vision in the evening. So yeah, briefly revisit your goal daily to stay aligned. And let the how arrive naturally through synchronicity and insights. Trust. You got to trust. Don't need to control every outcome. Just show up aligned and relaxed. So key themes here: decide on the result, get emotionally invested, and then let go. What do you want? Tap into the frequency, let go. Just know that in that moment when you have it in your head and you have the emotion, it is done. It is a done deal. But you have to relax and trust the universe's timing. There's this massive disconnect between how long people think things take to materialize. Like if you have a big vision to build $1 million business and you have no business experience, it's probably going to take a little bit, right? You're going to have to take consistent action. So the universe is going to deliver on its own time exactly when you're capable of being able to hold $1 million business, when you can deal with the people and you know how to manage and hire and do all the stuff. Like you got to do the stuff to be able to be the person that can hold it. And that's the reason that we have our desires. Okay, we're meant to achieve our desires, but not for what we'll get from the desires, but for who we will become. That's the biggest thing. It's like the universe placed these desires on our heart and on our mind because it wants us to go chase those things, because we are going to learn lessons and grow as individuals on the journey to attaining those things. And the real gift was the journey. It was what you learned getting there, right? So that's what the universe will give you, or God or whatever will give you certain objectives, because that's what you're meant to learn in this lifetime. So understand that. What you get is just icing on the cake. It's just icing on the cake. It's all about the becoming. Creative mechanism only works in peace, not panic, okay? And focus, rest, and let clarity come from stillness, not struggle. So just relax. The more you relax, the faster the answer arrives. Breathing is great. Box breathing, incredible. If you're like all worked up, 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, and then 4 seconds out, and then hold it for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do that. Hold for 4 seconds, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. That breathing technique, used by Navy SEALs, used by performers, used by athletes, used by whatever, speakers, will literally calm your nervous system down, right? If you are in a fight or flight. That's a practical tool you can use if you do catch yourself in fight or flight and want to return to a peaceful state. All the peace, all the power.